2009. Millions of Iranians pour into the streets in what becomes known as the Green Movement, the largest popular uprising since the revolution itself. The regime, experts say, cannot survive this. It survives. Then, 2020. An American drone strike kills Qassem Soleimani, Iran's most powerful military commander. The regime, analysts say, has been decapitated, and it's only a matter of time before it crumbles. Once again, it survives. 2022. A young woman named Mahsa Amini dies in police custody, and Iran erupts. Woman, life, freedom echoes from Tehran to every city in the country. This time, observers say, is different. It wasn't. Now, come 2026, the United States and Israel have launched the largest American military operation since the invasion of Iraq. Supreme Leader Khamenei is dead. Iran's nuclear facilities have been struck. Dozens of its top commanders have been killed. President Trump has declared victory. And yet, the regime continues. But how? Well, in this 10-minute brief, you will understand what sustains the Iranian theocracy, who sustains it, why the regime is so durable, whether it will actually fall, and what might happen the day after if it falls. To understand why the Islamic Republic survives everything thrown at it, you have to understand what it actually is. The regime rests on 4 interlocking pillars. The first is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, also known as the IRGC. According to estimates from the Clingendale Institute and Fortune magazine, the IRGC controls somewhere between 1/3 and a half of Iran's entire economy. It runs banks, it controls energy infrastructure, it owns majority stakes in telecommunications, it is almost 200,000 soldiers strong, and it functions simultaneously as an army, a political party, and a vast commercial empire. The second pillar is the Basij, a volunteer paramilitary militia embedded in every city, every neighborhood in Iran. Estimates of its size range from 300,000 to over 1 million members. The Basik are the regime's eyes and ears at street level. They are the ones who show up first when protests break out, and they are the reason protesters cannot simply organize in the open. The third pillar is the one that explains why American and Israeli airstrikes have not broken Iran's command structure, and it has a name: the Mosaic Defense. According to a March 9th analysis by the Soufan Center, the IRGC restructured its command architecture in 2005 into 31 separate, semi-autonomous regional units. Iranian Foreign Minister Araki described this strategy himself after Operation Epic Fury began. He wrote, quote, "Bombings in our capital have no impact on our ability to conduct war. Decentralized Mosaic Defense enables us to decide when and how the war will end. When a strike kills a commander, according to the Soufan Center's analysis, there is no single nerve center to paralyze. Every unit effectively has a full military structure at its disposal." The fourth pillar is external, and we turn to that now. If you're liking this video so far, you will for sure find more like this one on our channel. So subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment below, and share this video with your friends. The Islamic Republic does not stand alone. According to a Washington Post report, Russia has been using its military intelligence satellites to supply Iran with targeting data, helping Iranian forces identify and strike American command centers and military infrastructure across the Middle East. Nicole Grajewski, a researcher at Harvard Kennedy School's Belfer Center, told the Washington Post that Iranian strikes have become more sophisticated since the 12-day war of mid-2025, and that Russian satellite intelligence is a central reason why. Iran's Foreign Minister Araki has also publicly acknowledged, according to Politico Europe, that both Russia and China are providing what he described as military cooperation. Now, China's role is primarily economic and financial. China has continued absorbing sanctioned Iranian oil, providing access to international financial channels through alternative payment systems and supplying dual-use technology. The 25-year China-Iran Cooperation Agreement, signed in 2021, represented a $400 billion economic commitment designed to insulate Iran from Western pressure. Together, Russia and China have ensured that neither sanctions nor military strikes have been able to economically strangle the regime into submission. Any analysis of Iran that ignores Moscow and Beijing is missing half the picture. Here is the insight that most Western analysis misses entirely. Different from what Western media portrays it, the Islamic Republic is not a personalist dictatorship. In a personalist regime like Gaddafi's Libya or Saddam's Iraq, the leader is the regime. Remove him and the structure collapses. The Islamic Republic was deliberately engineered to be the opposite. To understand why, you have to understand how its government actually works. The country operates under a doctrine called, and sorry for the poor pronunciation, Velayat-e-Faqih, meaning the guardianship of the jurist, in which every branch of secular power is subordinated to an overarching layer of Islamic religious authority. Every institution is monitored, filtered, and controlled by a body called the Guardian Council, whose sole job is to ensure that every law, every candidate, and every election result conforms to Islamic principles. A candidate who does not demonstrate, according to the Constitution, piety, reliability, and belief in the values of the Islamic Republic cannot run for office. Above all this sits the Supreme Leader, selected by an 88-member assembly of experts. The Supreme Leader holds lifetime tenure. What this means in practice is that there is no single point of failure. Kill the Supreme Leader, and the assembly of experts selects a new one. Qassem Soleimani was installed within days. The system did not pause. So, given everything we know now, a question arises: can the regime actually fall? According to Reuters, US intelligence indicates that Iran's leadership is still largely intact and is not at risk of collapse anytime soon, after nearly 2 weeks of relentless US and Israeli attacks. The reports confirm that bringing down the regime would, quote, likely require a ground offensive that would allow people inside Iran to safely protest in the streets. The Trump administration has not ruled out sending ground troops, but the first week of Operation Epic Fury alone cost the United States $11.3 billion, according to a Pentagon briefing to Congress. Oil prices are swinging between $85 and $120 per barrel. The Strait of Hormuz, through which approximately 20% of the world's oil passes, remains closed. Israeli officials, in close discussions reported by Reuters, acknowledge there is no certainty the war will lead to the Iranian government's collapse. American intelligence has also assessed that Iranian Kurdish militias lack the firepower and numbers to sustain a meaningful fight against Iranian security services. So, at least under the strategy the US has followed so far, intelligence reports point out that the Iranian theocracy will continue pretty much intact. Before answering whether the Iranian regime can fall, we need to split the question into two: what might replace the Islamic Republic, and what usually ends up replacing regimes like it. On the might side, there is a proposal on the table. According to Fox News, Reza Pahlavi, exiled crown prince, son of the last Shah, announced on March 14 that a transitional government under his leadership is ready to assume governance of the country as soon as the Islamic Republic falls. The plan proposes a structured emergency phase, a transitional government operating under Pahlavi for 18 to 24 months, followed by a constitutional referendum and free elections. The plan explicitly calls for the dissolution of the IRGC's political and economic networks. On paper, it is the most detailed transition plan an Iranian opposition figure has ever produced. And then, there is the what usually happens side of the ledger. Iraq, 2003. The United States removes Saddam Hussein. Hussein was holding a fractured country together by force. What followed was a decade of sectarian civil war, the rise of ISIS, and a country that today tilts strategically toward Iran. Saddam Hussein was so despised that when his statue fell in Baghdad, crowds celebrated in the streets. And yet, a report by the BBC showed one of the Iraqi men who helped pull the statue down later told a journalist that he wanted Saddam back. He said it was not because Saddam was good, but because what came after was way worse. Libya followed in 2011, Afghanistan in 2021, following the same pattern. In the Middle East, what usually replaces the regime the US just took out is either civil war, the absolute collapse of the country, or a more ruthless regime? Behind all these questions, one remains the most critical. What is the plan for the day after? Because if the IRGC fills the vacuum, the US will have spent blood and treasure to replace an Islamist theocracy with an Islamist military junta. And if no organized, recognized, legitimate successor is ready to step in, then Libya, Iraq, and Afghanistan might become Iran's new future. So here is the question we leave you with. Is there a realistic path to a free Iran that doesn't end the way Iraq and Libya ended? And if so, what does it actually look like? Leave your answer in the comments below and subscribe to our channel for more analyses like this one. Hit the like and turn on the notification bell so you know as soon as we drop a new 10-minute brief. And while you're at it, click the link in the description or scan the QR code to stay ahead of the updates and our newest releases.